and a splish. Can you squirm like a fish? With a splash and a splish. Slippery, soapy skin, like shiny, shimmery scales, slinking underwater, flicking, soaping tails. Can you squirm like a fish? With a splash and a splish. Can you squirm like a fish? With a splash and a splish. Can you jiggle like a jellyfish? Can you shimmy like a shark? Can you electrify an ear to illuminate the dark? Can you squirm like a fish? With a splash and a splish. Can you squirm like a fish? With a splash and a splish. Open and shut your mouth, flap your silky gills. With a splish and a splash, show us your fishy skills. Can you squirm like a fish? With a splash and a splish. Can you squirm like a fish? With a splash and a splish. Can you prowl like a piranha? Or sliding like a seal? Can you loiter like a lobster?
Ooh, like a lobster.
Be a swordfish strong as steel. Can you squirm like a fish? With a splash and a splish. Can you squirm like a fish? With a splash and a splish. Can you tumble like a turtle? Can you wobble like a whale? Can you oompa like an orca? Or maybe slink like a snail? Can you waddle like a walrus?
Good morning. It is Saturday, and you can see that the sun is pouring in. I closed the blinds a little bit, and then I opened them back up because it's just beautiful. And the sky is blue, and so many of the leaves have tumbled down. It is November, it is Saturday, and we're going to have a story time. And I don't know if you can you see the books there? What we're going to have a story time on? And the song was saying, can you squirm like a fish? So today, we're having a story time all about fish, which I don't know if I've ever done before. But I wore my blue shirt thinking about the ocean, thinking about the water. And we're going to start with this book, which is called Happy. And the illustrations are incredible. And it goes through a whole series of emotions. So I am always happy when I am here with you on a Saturday morning because I love to sing and I love to share stories. But we're not always happy. We have all sorts of different emotions. And so this book does a really good job of going through all the different kinds of feelings we might be having today or whenever. So this is called Happy. Curious. Big eyes. Curious. And I really like this one too because at first, I'm going to show you the picture of the fish. I don't know what emotion you might think of with this fish. But it's kind of hard to see at first. But it says nervous. And I think that's part of the power of this page is sometimes when we're nervous, we just don't want to be seen. Just scared. We're nervous. And this is great. This one is brave. Aren't pictures and words amazing? Because here's a little fish, or it looks little from here, and everything around is dark. But it's looking upward. And it has a small smile, and despite the darkness, it's feeling brave. This one. What would you say? Shy. Shy fish. I think we've all felt shy before. Ooh. surprise? And I like that too, because the mouth, I often do that when I'm surprised. I think we all do. We open our mouths. We're surprised. Whoa. What would you say for this one? Sad. Even the words, even the letters, it's like it's been smudged. Sometimes we feel sad. We do. Well, sometimes it's more than sad. It's more than angry. It's look at that. What kind of fish is that? What's it feeling? Furious. Ooh, it's like you're right there. It's furious. What would you say for that one? Proud. You hold your head up high. Feeling proud. Ooh. This is tough. This is tough. This one's jealous. Look at that eye, like the eye looking back. This is a jealous fish. This is a loving fish. And I like the fact that its eyes are closed. Sometimes when we think about love, it's just reassuring. It's just like, oh. Ooh. Big teeth, angry eyes. This is an angry fish. I guess I should say it's a fish that's feeling angry. Who does this remind you of? See, this reminds me of the rainbow fish. Does this remind you of the rainbow fish? And this one says, it's glad. It's glad. And I think it might be related to the rainbow fish. It's glad it can share. Ooh. Confused. Isn't that good? Here's a confused fish. Again, sometimes it happens. Sometimes we just don't understand. We are confused. Here is a content fish. Content. Whoa. What do you think this is? Here's an afraid fish. That combination of the mouth and the eyes. Ooh, this one. This fish is sure. Aren't these great? Shocked. Astonished. Maybe by now you're feeling a little bit bored. A bored fish. And the very last one is delighted. So I just like this. I like this book because it has so many different beautiful fish, and it's all about emotions. And we feel all sorts of different things. Sometimes we are simply astonished. Sometimes we're shocked. But you know what? Always, 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 never have any doubt that every Saturday I am delighted. I am delighted to be here with you. Again, I know the sun is pouring in. I don't know if you can see me, but thankfully we don't have that message covering the screen today. Our technological issues have been sorted out. All right, I wonder if I have a song. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. All right, here is a song. It's called I Am a Little Fish.
I'm a little fish swimming in the ocean. I'm a little fish swimming in the sea. I'm a little fish swimming in the water. I'm a little fish swimming so free.
Would you like to swim?
I'm a little dolphin diving in the ocean. I'm a little dolphin diving in the sea. I'm a little dolphin diving in the water. I'm a little dolphin diving so free. I'm gonna get to where I'm going. I'm gonna swim to the other side. I'm gonna get to where I'm going with you by my side.
I like that.
I'm a little seahorse dancing in the ocean. I'm a little seahorse dancing in the sea. I'm a little seahorse dancing in the water. I'm a little seahorse dancing so free.
Have you ever seen a seahorse? They just go like this, up and down.
I'm a little octopus wiggling in the ocean. I'm a little octopus wiggling in the sea. I'm a little octopus wiggling in the water. I'm a little octopus wiggling so free. I'm gonna get to where I'm going. I'm gonna wiggle to the other side. I'm gonna get to where I'm going with you by my side.
By my side. That was called I Am a Little Fish. And it actually is an introduction to this next book, which is called Big Bear. What a big bear and little fish. And I have to say, it's an unusual story, but that's what's so great about Saturday Story Times, is that I pick a theme and it gives me an excuse to look at stories that I might have otherwise not seen. So, Big Bear and Little Fish. And on this page, I don't know if you can see that Big Bear has a ticket. Do you see the ticket? And the ticket is to the carnival, or like a fair. Bear wanted a teddy bear. Not just any teddy bear. She wanted the biggest one of all. So have you ever been somewhere at a fair or at a carnival where you can try to win prizes? That is a big teddy bear. Bear got a fish instead. And when we were looking at the other fish book and we were thinking about emotions, what kind of emotion do you think that is? So we'll go back to that other page when Bear is looking at the prizes. So here's the big teddy bear, but next to the big teddy bear is the fish. It's not what Bear wanted. It was small. It was very small. It was so small, it lived in a bowl. See the bear's claws, its hands, its paws? There's the fish. The fish woke up and smiled. Hello, Bear. Is this my new home? Bear was big, and she was very big. She was so big she worried she might scare fish with her big, booming voice. Bear did not say hello. Instead, because it was lunchtime, Bear went inside and made a sandwich. She was gold and liked golden food, especially bread and syrup. Bear did not make lunch for Fish. Fish was orange and probably ate carrot muffins and cheese, or tangerines and pumpkins. And Bear didn't have any of those things. If only Fish were a teddy bear. Bear pulled out her yardstick for her after-lunch measuring, and she sized herself out from the tops of her ears to the tips of her toes, and she was 9 feet and 8 inches long. Which is pretty big. Bear did not size up Fish. She wasn't sure where to begin. Do you go side to side or top to bottom? And where exactly was a fish's bottom anyway? Bear tried to figure it out, but before she could decide, it was time for her afternoon walk. If only Fish were a teddy bear. Bear flew some fluff in the air, and she balanced a leaf on her nose, and she admired a bush. Bear was pretty sure that Fish did not take walks. Fluff would land in her water, or a leaf would get caught in her tail. If Fish were a teddy bear, she wouldn't have to think about any of that. They would just amble and ramble and never fuss about tails. Bear ambled up a hill and down again. It was a very big walk. And all the while, Bear worried that she should have brought... Sorry, let me try that again. I'm going to start from the beginning of the page. First, I'll show you the picture. All right. Actually... Do you see up here? Here's the house. We can see the tiny little fish bowl. Okay? And Bear's down here. Isn't that great? What a great picture. Okay, so I'm going to start the words again. Bear ambled up a hill and down again. It was a very, very big walk. And all the while, Bear worried that she should never have brought Fish home. At last, Bear turned around and headed back. It's kind of blurry when I zoom in like that, huh? Oh. Fish was exactly where Bear had left her. Hello, Bear. How was your walk? I have to say, this porch of ours is splendid. I'm sorry, Fish, but you cannot stay. Why not? Asked Fish. You are orange. You eat carrot muffins and tangerines. I do like muffins, but aren't you orange too? Bear peeked at her stomach. It was an orangey sort of gold. It looked an awful lot like a carrot muffin. I am sorry, Fish, you cannot stay. You have a tail, and a leaf might get caught in it when we go for walks. Said Fish. Don't you have a tail? They're behind you. Bear twisted around and she discovered a bit of fur. It looked very much like a tail. I am sorry, Fish, you cannot stay. Most of all, it's because you are small. Oh, am I? I always wanted to be measured. Bear brought her yardstick, and Fish lined herself up from the end of her nose to the tip of her tail, and she was 3 inches long. It's not so small, said Fish. I am not 1 inch. I am not 2 inches. I am 3 inches. 3 inches is very small. You are so small that you live in a bowl. But don't you live in a bowl too? And Bear looked around, and the sky was as round as a fish's bowl, only upside down. And she looked and looked at her round blue bowl. At last, Bear said, I think I might be small. Everybody is sometimes, said Fish. But don't worry, Bear. No matter how small we might be on the outside, we can still be big on the inside. Oh, Bear said. I never thought of that. Said Bear. Yes? Asked Fish. I think I would like to amble a bit more. This time with you. We might even find a carrot muffin. I would like that, said Fish, especially if it's a very big muffin. And so they ambled and rambled and never once fussed about their tails. And I just like that book, Big Bear and Little Fish. And Bear wanted a teddy bear. Bear did not get what Bear wanted. But you know what she got? She got a friend. An unexpected, a surprise, a friendship. And they found out that it's all about how we feel on the inside. Great book. Great book. All right. This is fun. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it.
Love your knees, love your toes, love your belly, love your nose. Oh, oh, oh. I love your knees, love your toes, love your belly, love your nose. Oh, 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 I love you so. My love for you is as big as a tree, bigger than a whale living in the sea, larger than the moon up in the sky. It's true. I love your knees, love your toes, love your belly, love your nose. Oh, oh, oh. I love your knees, love your toes, love your belly, love your nose. Oh, 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 I love you so. My love for you is strong as glue, stronger than an ox and a donkey too. The strength of a diamond doesn't compare, it's true. You ready? I love your knees, love your toes, love your belly, love your nose. Oh, oh, oh. I love your knees, love your toes, love your belly, love your nose. Oh, 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 I love you so. My love for you goes as high as a kite, higher than an airplane taking flight. My heart swells up when I think of you, it's true. I love your knees, love your toes, love your belly, love your nose. Oh, oh. I love your knees, love your toes, love your belly, love your nose. Oh, 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 I love you so. Oh, I love you so. Oh, I love you so.
I love that. Bigger than a whale living in the sea, Oh, I've got so many wonderful books. Let's have a funny one. Let's have a funny one. This book is called Something Fishy. Something Fishy. And we're having a story time about fish. Sometimes people go fishing and they try to catch fish. And again, we're thinking about how we feel. What do you think? What do you think that penguin's feeling? Interesting. And again, this is a silly book because if you're out where it's cold and you're ice fishing, I don't know that a rabbit's going to show up, but here we go. Hey, what are you doing? Shh. Are you fishing? Hey, what's going on here? I think she's fishing. Are the fish biting? I don't think so. Hey, are you fishing? Shh. Any fish biting? No. I don't understand why. Is she fishing? Yes. Got a little crowd. So why aren't the fish biting? We don't know. I'm baffled. Ooh, fishing. Have you caught anything? No. Why not? We don't know. I'm perplexed. What's happening over here? We're fishing. But the fish aren't biting. Well, what did you put on the hook? Some cake. Cake? Who wouldn't want to bite a cake? I'm flummoxed. Hey, you guys having a party? No, we're fishing. There's cake on the hook. But the fish aren't biting. Something's fishy. Shh. I hear something. Surprise! More cake, please. Isn't that clever? I was attracted to this book because of the cover. I thought, I wonder what's going on. And sometimes we use the expression, something's fishy, when things aren't quite right. But I really did not see that surprise coming. And you know what? I think that's a great surprise. And I think that's a very sweet book. Something's fishy. So there we have a little penguin delivering cake as a birthday surprise. All right. I don't know what time it is. I just know I'm having a wonderful time with you. Singing, Oh. You know what? There's a book. I know I've read this book before. Where did it go? Oh, this is also about fishing. You know what? I'm going to do it anyway. This is also about fishing. I'm sure at some point I've read this book before, but it's okay. Maybe you haven't heard it. And even if you have, it's worth repeating. And it's called Piggy and Dad Go Fishing. Look at these cute little wormies. Wormies. Piggy and Dad go fishing. Piggy woke up excited. Today he was going fishing with Dad for the very first time. Dad was already up getting the fishing poles ready and making Piggy's favorite lunch, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on squishy bread. Now, all we need are worms, and tonight we'll have the most delicious fried fresh fish for supper, said Dad. So Piggy dug up worms faster than he could say delicious fried fresh fish. When they got to the river, Dad asked Piggy if he wanted to bait his own hook. Okay, said Piggy, and he took a worm and he hung it over his hook, and the worm wiggled and fell off. Piggy tried again, and this time he tied the worm in a knot around the hook, and the worm untied himself. Piggy, I'm afraid you really have to poke the hook into the worm. And Piggy looked at the worm. And the worm smiled at Piggy. Do you want me to do it? Dad asked. And Dad looked at the worm. And the worm smiled at Dad. Let's use bread for bait instead. So Dad and Piggy pinched bread from their sandwiches, squished it into little balls, and baited their hooks. And then they threw in their lines. Now, said Dad as he sat down, you have to be very patient. Fishing takes a lot of waiting. A fish has to be hungry. It has to think about eating. It has to find the bait. It has to look at the bait and think about it and say to itself, that looks pretty tasty. And then it has to nibble the bait and decide if it really is good. And then finally, it has to bite the whole thing, hook and all. But Piggy wasn't good at waiting. He pulled his line out and he threw it back in, and he pulled it out and he threw it back in and again, and nothing's happening, he said. You can't hurry fish, said Dad. Soon, they both fell asleep, but they held on to their poles. Suddenly, Piggy's pole bent hard. I got a bite, he shouted, and Piggy pulled, and the fish pulled, and Piggy pulled again, and the fish pulled again, and the fish jumped, and Piggy slipped. And Dad grabbed Piggy, and Dad slipped. Splash! But finally, Piggy reeled in his fish, and Dad said, good job. It's a beauty. Piggy smiled. But then he looked at his fish, and his fish was looking right back at him. My fish looks sad, said Piggy. Do you think he really feels sad? I don't know. I never thought about it, said Dad. Piggy and the fish stared at each other. Can I let him go? Said Piggy. Sure, said Dad. So Piggy slipped the fish back into the water. Bye-bye, fishy, said Piggy. Watch out for hooks next time. And the fish flipped its tail and was gone. Then, while they ate their lunch, Piggy made more bread balls and tossed them into the water. What are you doing? Asked Dad. I'm fishing, said Piggy. But you're just feeding the fish, said Dad. I know. That's because it's a different kind of fishing. You should try it, said Piggy. Look at all the fish, said Dad. This is fun. Why didn't I ever think of feed the fish fishing? And the next day, Piggy and Dad went fishing again. And as a special treat, Dad brought donuts. Some for Piggy, some for himself, and all the rest for the fish. And that is the end. So we start on the first, inside of the first page, the cover, we start with the happy little worms, and then we end with donuts. I love this book. Piggy and Dad Go Fishing. So we've had a story time about fish, and we started out thinking about how we can feel all sorts of different things in these beautiful illustrations of fish. Kind of a silly book, Something's Fishy. We had Big Bear and Little Fish, which was just an excuse to think about friendship and the world that we live in. And then Piggy and Dad Go Fishing. So I have had a wonderful time being here. There are so many books about fish. This is an interesting one. A Tree for a Fish. And I almost went on a little tangent. And maybe another time. This book is all about water, because of course fish live in water. But we are out of time, but we'll be back next Saturday. I'm so glad that we didn't have our technical issues, which is good. Let's see if there is a song that we can end with. You know what? We're going to go out on this beautiful song, thinking about water and land and the world that we live in. Here we go.
This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream wall.